Hey, hi, my name is JR. Uh, this video is, I'm just gonna make, I do have a couple videos like this, talking about my relationship with Jennifer, uh, on my page, but, I'm going to make, another video just because I know that some people don't like going way back when, on people's TikToks and watch all their videos, so I don't blame you. Yeah, like I said, my name is Jonathan Robert Taylor. I go by JR though. Don't ever call me Jonathan or Robert. Anyways, I I met Jennifer at this mental health place for young adults, for this program called TAY. And TAY stands for Transitional Aged Youth. I was honestly going through a lot. And I just moved in with my sister, my younger sister. And I was trying to get back on my feet. I learned how to close people off. And when I started going to this mental health place, I didn't want to know anyone. I kind of was really mean to people. And it wasn't because I like being mean. Like, I don't like being mean at all. I am very non-confrontational unless you hurt someone I care about. Then me and you are gonna have some words. I am a very shy person, and I don't really put myself out there very much. I am very insecure, and at the time I really hated myself. I hated everything about me. I thought I was ugly, fat, disgusting. No one could ever love someone like me, you know? And then I started going to this mental health place. And on my first day, I remember seeing Jennifer sitting on the couch with someone, and he had his arms wrapped around her, and I'm gay. Like, I was never really attracted to her that way. I mean, she is gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but I'm not attracted to girls in that way. But something about her made me want to go up to her and like, just get to know her. I don't know what it was, but something was pulling at me, trying to get me to go up to her. And I didn't. I just ignored the feeling. But every day I'd see her there, and I remember every day I'd come in hoping I'd see her. And I don't know why. It was so weird to me. But I was very like, I don't know, I was very, I don't want to say attracted to her, but I was very fascinated by her, and I have no idea why, because I knew nothing about her. My first friend was this girl named Rachel, middle name Joy, last name Cahill, or Cahill, sorry. And then, the second girl I met there, her name was Kai Bishop, and I think she was, I don't know, I have to ask her if she was really gender fluid or something, because I don't know, whatever, because she would also go by Kyle, depending on how she felt. I don't really know if that's gender fluid or not. I don't know, sorry, I don't want to, like, say anything about that, but anyways, so, we became, like a trio. So, we really like the musical Heathers, so that was, like, one of our things, you know, where, you know, like, red is my favorite color, as you can see. So I was obviously Heather Chandler, and then Kai was Heather Duke, and then Rachel was Heather McNamara. Then we started hanging out with Jennifer, and this was within, like, a couple months, I think, of me starting. Or maybe even just, yeah, I think it was a couple months. And we were hanging, like, I was hanging out with Jennifer a little bit here and there. Just me and her. But it wasn't till later that, we all started hanging out as a group. And I think that was in November. And, anyways, so we became, a foursome. And Jennifer would always, like, I remember she would sign into the group sign-in thing, and she would put Jen T. And at the time, I was always putting John T. And so I was curious. I was like, what's your last name? And she's like, I can't give that out. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I remember it being odd, you know, that she wasn't able to give out her last name. But I didn't really press her on that. I also remember telling a little bit of my story in group, and she came up to me and said, I know exactly how you feel, you know. And then she told me that her parents were in prison, but she can't say why, which I thought was weird. Then one day I asked her where she lived, just because I was curious, because she was always there, and I don't know. She said that I'm not allowed to give out that information. I was like, oh, okay. She looked so scared. And then one day she showed me a picture of her and her siblings on Mount Rubidoux, which is this mountain people climb. Not really climb. I want to say hike or walk, whatever. And they walk up this mountain to this giant cross on top of a hill, whatever. Anyway, so I was like, damn, how many are you? And she was like, there's 13 of us. And I was like, wow, your parents must have really loved each other. And she just was like, yeah. Anyways, then one day we went to the park. Okay, so no, one day I went down to Rite Aid, and it was a rainy day, and we decided to get some alcohol and some soda. So we drank alcohol and ran it down with soda. We sat in this like community center down the street from where our place, or our mental health place was. And Katrina. And we ended up just sitting in the hallway, not in the hallway, but on the stairwell, just like looking out, you know, in case people were coming by. And we'd sit there and drink alcohol and run it down with soda. Then we decided to go into the back of the place and play on the playground. And we were running around. I was pushing Jennifer and her sister in the swings, and we were throwing wood chips at each other and chasing each other around the playground like little kids. And then Jennifer said, I've never done this before. And I remember thinking, that's odd, but I didn't say anything. Oh, and she also, this is another time, she also, before this, she also, was like, oh, I'm 30. And I was like, no, you're not, because our program was, I think 16 to 25-year-olds. And she was like, no, I'm 30. And I was like, oh, no, you're not. What the hell? Then why are you here? And then, she was like, no, I'm 30. So she showed me her ID, but she covered her last name, which I caught onto that. And I was like, I didn't say anything though, but I knew she was covering up her last name with her finger or her thumb. So those were her dropping hints to me that she knew that she was, you know, Jennifer Turpin. And, because she was on conservatorship, she wasn't allowed to give out her name for fear of the press or, you know, stuff like that. And then, so anyways, back to the, playground thing. So I kind of got a little drunk because I didn't eat anything that day, and I just, you know, drank alcohol, so it hit me hard. And I remember it started raining, and they were like, oh, we have to go back, and Jennifer had to meet, Vanessa. Vanessa was coming to pick them up, and she refused to leave me behind, even though Kai, my friend Kai, was like, no, he'll be okay, bitch. Anyways, I love you, Kai. So she refused to leave me behind, and so I was leaning on her, walking back to the program. And I don't know if I actually remember this, because I don't think I remembered it. I didn't remember it at all the next day. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not sure if it's a real memory, if it's just because people tell me this is what Jennifer told me this is what happened. But apparently we were walking, and I don't know, and Jennifer was like, oh, the sky's peeing. And I started screaming out, the sky's peeing! The sky's peeing! And then everyone started laughing. And then, And to this day, everyone's like, remember that time Jared got drunk and was screaming the sky is peeing? And then Jennifer was always like, yeah, because I told him that. And so I kind of remember it like that way, but I'm not sure if I'm remembering it because I remember it, or if I'm remembering it because of how many times Jennifer told me about it, you know? Anyways, and then one thing that really got my okay, so then anyways, I'm gonna get back to what I was about to say later. Anyway, so Jennifer at the time was Jennifer was at was waiting for her ride, and so we were sitting there, and apparently I was about to take off my shirt because I got really hot, but I didn't. No one wants to see this. Anyways, but Jennifer wanted to get my number, and she was asking me like, oh, let me get your number, because she wanted to make sure I was okay later. But I was so out of it, I didn't even give her my number. She just left. But she saw me again, and eventually we exchanged numbers, and then we also exchanged Facebook's profiles. And her name on Facebook was Katrina Lavetta. And the reason why I'm saying all these names is because it's important. So one day Jennifer comes into the program, and she is just, I could tell from the look on her face something is not right. She comes in and she looks sad, scared even. And I'm like, hey, and usually she's like, hey, you know, like all bubbly and sweet. But today she's like, hey. And I was like, are you okay? And she was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I'm okay. And then I looked at her and I was like, do you want to go talk alone? She paused for a moment, just a moment, not like a long time, just I want to say like 3 seconds. She had to think about it. She was like, yeah, I would really like that. And so we ended up going into a private room, and just we were the only ones there because it was like, I don't know, I want to say 6 o'clock in the morning, and 6 or 7, something like that. And it was, the sun wasn't even out yet. Fully, like it was still rising, and I think it was a rainy day, so it was darker than it normally would have been. And so it was just me and her at this program, and then also the people who work there. And we were no, it wasn't 6, it was probably like 7-ish, because I don't think they open at 6, I don't know. Anyways, so we ended up going to this private room, and the first thing she says to me is, I don't know how to explain. Oh, I don't even have to go through that. Sorry. Anyway, so basically, we were sitting there, and one of the first things she told me, other than the stuttering, was, my name is Jennifer Turpin. My parents are in prison, for abusing me and my 13 siblings, or me and my 12 siblings. And I remember just everything started to click. All the little hints that she was dropping me finally fell into place. It was like a puzzle just assembling itself in my brain. And I was like, oh my god. I don't think I took it very well. I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I remember just like being like shocked. And then I was like, holy shit. Like I remember saying like, holy shit. Like I just remember being so fucking mind blown that I was just like, I couldn't process anything. And Jennifer was just like, yeah. And I was like, oh my god. And then I basically like was like, oh my god, I thought about you and your siblings, like you guys never left in my mind. And she was like, well, found me. And I just remember being like, oh my god. And I remember we hugged for a long time. And then she told me that her parents' sentencing was coming up, and how she was terrified of testifying, because that means she has to face her parents. And I remember just my heart felt like it was aching for her. And I looked at her and I said, do you want me to go? Like, do you want me to come to your parents' sentencing and I can be there for you for moral support? She was like, yeah, I would love that. And then from then on, we were inseparable. We'd spend every day together. You know, and at the time I was living because I was living in Riverside with my sister down the street from this program before. But then I moved out, and then I was staying with a friend in Paris, California, and I had to take like an hour-long bus ride just to get to my program. So it was like an hour and 20 minutes to get to downtown Riverside, to where the courthouse was, and I was having a hard time finding the place. I was going, I was like trying to, I remember getting in the elevator, and the elevator kept skipping the floor I was trying to get on. I don't know why. I was just like I was so anxious. I was trying so hard to get it, you know, and then eventually I got there, and as when I'm standing there, there's a whole crowd of people, and I was thinking, oh my god, it's first come, first serve, I'm probably not going to get in. And then all of a sudden, the doors open, and a lawyer and a security guard come out, and they say my name. They say Jonathan Taylor, and I remember thinking like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. And I was like, here. And I remember just like no hesitation, I was like, here, like so scared I thought I was in trouble, because I also knew that she wasn't allowed to say anything. But they had me come in alone, took my seat next to some people, Jennifer, who looked after, or who cared for Jennifer. Not looked after them, like helped them, like live or anything, but like a church preacher's wife, and then also church preacher's wife's friend. That's all I'm gonna say. And I was sitting there, and then they were, you know, I don't know, you can find the whole thing on YouTube, but basically I'm in the background. I was big as fuck though, sorry. Oops, sorry. But Jennifer comes out, and she is, she stands there at the podium, and I am told to get up and go stand next to her. And as I'm standing next to her, I remember seeing her parents, and I was trying everything in my power to not hug Jennifer, because I wasn't sure if that was appropriate or not, you know, I wasn't sure if I would get in trouble for that, but a part of me just wanted to reach my arms around her and hug her while she gave her testimony, but I didn't. I did stand right next to her, shoulder to shoulder, though. And, yeah. She's been my best friend ever since. The other thing I was gonna get back to, was this thing where, Jennifer, and this is a funny story, when me and Jennifer were, you know, just hanging out together all the time, and we were hanging out together, like, I think this was, like, in January, maybe, no, this was sometime after her parents' sentencing. We were walking, and I remember my humor, okay, here's the thing, my humor is not for everyone. I am a bitch. Yeah, I am a bitch, but I am also very caring, and I cuss a lot, and I don't know. But Jennifer accepts me the way I am, and she doesn't care that I cuss. She doesn't care that I can, you know, be mean to people sometimes. Only people who are mean to me first, you know, or who are disrespectful, or if, you know, they're mean to her or anyone I care about, you know. I'm sure that isn't, you know, whatever. But Jennifer loves me for who I am. Sure. Me and Jennifer, were like, you know, we were at our program, and I remember being like, people are attracted to me like flies on shit. And she was like, you're not brown. And then she looks at me, she's like, oh. And she turns around, hides her, like, tilts her head in, like, shame, and walks away. I remember running after her. I was like, no, oh my god. And she was like, I'm so embarrassed. And I was hugging her. And she was like, I'm so embarrassed. And I remember just being like, no, that's so sweet. And she was like, what? Because I was like, I don't know, to me that just showed that she saw me and not what was on the outside. And for me, that was so special, so important to our friendship. And I think that really cemented our friendship and our relationship. Like, in that moment, I fell hard. I fell so hard. And yeah, it was just a lot to take in, I guess, but that's when we were yeah. Anyways, sorry. We had a lot of firsts with Jennifer. I was there to hold her when she, cried. We'd go to the bar to do karaoke, and then I'd walk her home. And then I moved back in with my sister, and I was closer to her again. And then she moved actually only a couple blocks away from me. And so one night she called me up because there was a spider in her apartment. And it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I took some stuff and like sprays and stuff for roaches and whatever and traps because at the time she was dealing with that too. And I walked straight down to her place and we couldn't find the spider. But she was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know who else to call. Like, and I was like, nah, bitch, call me. Just call me. And so, yeah. Jennifer was always so sweet to me, so caring, And we went to this river in I don't remember, Colorado River, I think it was. And she was learning how to swim at the time. She couldn't swim, at least not well. She only had a couple lessons after being rescued, but after that she didn't know how to swim. And so it was summer, and so I went to this river, and I had her on my back, and she was holding onto my back, and we were like in the water, and I was trying to go deeper and deeper, and I was letting her know that I wasn't gonna let her drown. And she trusted me, so she, did. And my foot, actually, because I was kind of just like kind of leaping forward, in the water, and then my foot lost its grip and I slipped on, because it was like the floor went like this, and then there was a dip, and I slipped, and then Jennifer was trying to get off of me because she knew I was like drowning. But me, while I was underwater trying to like come back up, I kept grabbing Jennifer and putting her back on my shoulder because I knew she couldn't swim and I didn't want her to drown. And so she was trying to get off me, and I was trying to keep her on me because I was like, I don't care. I didn't want her to die. I'd rather die than her, And so then eventually, she got help. Someone, one of her friends jumped in the water and got her, and then I was able to like come back to the surface. And we were laughing about it for a while, but it was so scary at first. We were like, oh my god, And that also was a significant moment in our friendship where I realized that I would die for this girl. And, yeah. Anyways, so I'm gonna skip ahead. Or actually, no, I'm gonna tell like one more story. So, this was later on, and before I moved to Texas. This is before COVID and all that. We were at a program, and there's this guy there who works there, and he was always very chill and funny, you know. And me and Jennifer, we were like always like together. We were always together, and we always bickered at each other like a married couple. And everyone was so confused. They were like, "So are you guys together?" And we were like, we'd look at each other, we'd be like, "Ew, no." And there was this one time where I was like, I command attention. And so she grabbed my arm and was like, okay. She was hugging my arm. And I was like, don't fucking touch me. And I pulled away from her. And we just started laughing because we looked at each other for a moment and just started laughing. And then the guy who was working there started laughing. He was like, I can't with you guys. And he was like, are you guys boyfriend and girlfriend or something? Like, no, ew. Like, that was always our response. But at the time, we started calling each other soulmates, like, you know, or she was my sister, I was her brother, like, that's how we referred to each other. Anyways, I'm gonna skip ahead. So I moved to Texas, very depressed, living on my own. I was living with family before for, like, almost, I wouldn't say a year. No, it wasn't a year. But anyways, I ended up moving out and living on my own. I got very depressed. And I decided that I was going to get a cat. And so I went to Walmart, or not Walmart, what the fuck, Walmart doesn't sell cats. I went to Petco, no. Yeah, I went to Petco, and I requested to go in the back with the cats, hang out with the cats, see whichever one, you know, was for me. And only one stuck with me the whole time, so I got her. And I named her Katrina Joy Bishop Taylor, after my 3 best friends. Katrina, because Jennifer went by Katrina on Facebook. Joy, because my friend Rachel, her middle name is Joy. Then Bishop, because my friend Kai's last name is Bishop. And then obviously Taylor, because that's my last name. Yeah. I love you, Jen. I love you so much. I really do. Alright.